Please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First for the visiting Blue Jays of Elmhurst University. A 5'2" senior from Vancouver, Washington, number 1, Rowan Cusack. Number 10, a 5'7" sophomore from Valparaiso, Indiana, Kristen Bucata. Number 14, a 5'6" junior from River Grove, Illinois, Sierra Gibson. Number 22, a 5'8" senior from McKesney Park, Illinois, MC Brown. And number 30, a 6'1" junior from Palmdale, California, Sierra Steamer. The Blue Jays are coached by Cameron Tucker. Here are the starters for your Wheaton College Thunder. Number 5, a 5'4" junior from Lone Tree, Colorado, Alyssa Faborowski. Number 13, a 5'7" freshman from Casick, California, Lily Cadeau. Number 24, a 5'10" junior from Falls Church, Virginia, Kate Oliver. A 5'11" senior from Northfield, Minnesota, number 25, Annika Richardson. And number 30, a 5'9" junior from Pekin, Illinois, Grace Kaiser. The Thunder is coached by Kent Madsen, assisted by Joanna Gutkowski, Laura Egan, and Kirsten Madsen. Our officials tonight, Rhonda Mont, Dorian Stewart, and Phil Wynn.
Tonight. My name is Maren Davis, and I am here with Acadia Fitzpatrick for the game between the Wheaton College Thunder and the Elmhurst Blue Jays. We are just about to do tip-off here, and we are excited to be here. Acadia, what are you expecting us to see tonight?
You know, seeing the Thunder come off of a narrow win against North Park and watching Elmhurst have a narrow defeat against Illinois Wesleyan, I am curious to see what that momentum carries into this game for the Thunder, and we'll see if Elmhurst can come back looking for that first point.
Absolutely. We are starting the game off strong with some good defense from the Wheaton College Thunder, seeing Grace Kaiser take it up the right side of the court. Kaiser finds Oliver. Oliver looking for Annika Richardson, a famous pair for Wheaton. A 3-point there from Alyssa Faborowski to start the game off strong.
That's beautiful to see from Faborowski in this game. She is coming off a career high of 19 points against North Park last week, and I'm very curious to see what that looks like in this game.
Starting off the foul here called on the Thunder. We're going to see Rowan Cusack taking the ball from down in the far end of the court here.
One notable event from last week's game with the Wheaton Thunder facing off against North Park. The big difference was turnovers. We'll have to see if the Thunder can keep those low tonight, because that was definitely the difference maker in last week's game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those turnovers are going to be really important. Ball sends back to Faborowski, out to Cato and Richardson on the right side. In towards the center. Kate Oliver has it on the left. Moves in towards the center looking for the layup. Doesn't quite make it. Good defense there. Kristen Bucata takes it up and sends it in for the 2 from Sierra Gibson. Another strong pair there. We're seeing, we're seeing that Kristen Bucata being a strong player there in the center for the Blue Jays. Faborowski defended by Cusack. Faborowski out to Grace Kaiser. Kaiser sinks a 3 from the left side.
That is a beautiful start to the game. I am very happy to see the Thunder making threes like that. That is absolutely going to be something that defines this game. Absolutely,
and I mean, even starting with that beautiful 3 from Faborowski, I mean, she has a record of just making those gorgeous 3 shots from outside. So, definitely a strong start.
I will say we are already seeing Elmhurst crash the paint a lot more in this game versus taking those 3-point shots. I'll be curious to see how that affects things as the game continues.
I think that's where you're going to have to see Wheaton adapt a little bit. If they're looking at a team who is going to kind of hit that paint as much as possible, how are they going to adapt to how that and make sure that their defense is adapting to that?
Yep. I completely agree.
I mean, Wheaton's coming in as the 3rd strongest defense in the district right now, and so they're going to have to adapt to that, just like Elmhurst is looking at their kind of number 3 top offense right now. And so it's really going to be that matchup, I think, over here on this left side of the paint.
And there's those turnovers we were talking about earlier. In the last week game against North Park, we saw North Park get very frustrated during those last few minutes, which put Faborowski at the foul line, making up the difference in those points and leading ultimately to a Thunder win. Now, if we can see composure from the Thunder, I don't think that we'll have a problem here tonight.
I agree, but that's also, one of those things that, like a strong pass there from Annika Richardson, you really can't miss those. And so we got to make sure that we're covering our players here. Kristen Bucata has it, sends it to Gibson. Gibson, well defended, hands it off to Steamer. Steamer looks to the outside there, sends it back to Bucata. Bucata moving into the center. Guarded by 4. Petra Trumbach picks it up. Cato moving down the right side. Beautiful shot there from Richardson. Brings the score up to 9-4 with a quick recovery there from Elmhurst. An excellent handoff there from Gibson to Steamer, and Steamer sinks it.
As beautiful as those threes have been, if we cannot stop the breakaway here, that is going to lead to a problem, but not when you have Richardson taking it in right there.
I think having a quick recovery time is going to be crucial for both these teams, as we're seeing some of these breakaways moving down the sides in response to recently scored points. So we're just going to have to make sure that both teams are staying on top of that recovery time.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful control there from Annika Richardson. Recovered by Bucata as she takes it up the court.
I am absolutely fascinated to see just how quickly Elmhurst is able to get in the paint. And as you were referring to earlier, Wheaton has an extremely strong defense, but if they are not stopping Elmhurst from getting into the paint, this is going to be a hard game. Absolutely.
Beautiful shot there from Lindsay Novak. Taken in again by Gibson. That brings our score up to Elmhurst leading with 12-11 for the first time so far this game. Annika Richardson with the ball. Sends it out to Cato. Grace Kaiser there for the layup. Brings it up to 13-12. Already we're seeing a lot of back and forth on this court here. We're seeing a lot of those kind of turnovers and lost opportunities for points, but also just quick recovery time on scoring there. So how do you think that's going to impact what we see tonight?
Yeah, a quick-paced game like this, I'll be very interested to see what players' energy looks like going into that second quarter, as well as after halftime. This is an exhausting pace for any basketball game, and to see it out this early in the game is really going to set things in motion for the following quarters.
I think this pace is also going to make a big difference here because we're seeing the Blue Jays with their really deep bench. They've got a lot of strong players, and they like to spread their playing time pretty evenly. Wheaton, on the other hand, focuses a lot of their power on kind of these core partnerships that they keep on the court. And so I think that we're going to see that as long as this game pace keeps continuing, we're going to need to see Wheaton conserving their stamina in order to be able to continue to compete with these Blue Jays with their deep bench.
Absolutely. Seeing a team with a deep bench like Elmhurst is absolutely formidable. But if we are making those three-point shots, as we just saw in these first few minutes, that is definitely a way that the Thunder can continue to compete. Now, one thing I haven't seen yet is being sent to the free throw line. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that we're going to see that as this game progresses, honestly. I think that we've already seen some instances where these fouls are getting driven to the paint, and so I think that we're going to start seeing those opportunities on the free throw line. And just like with any game, it's going to be important that you're taking advantage of those opportunities on both sides.
I completely agree. There is a level of strategy involved when you choose to foul and when you are not. And seeing Elmhurst drive the paint as much as they are, they're not making every single shot that they're driving. And so choosing when to engage and when to let some of those runs just be what they are is going to be a key decision point for our Thunder.
We are seeing our first step up to the free throw line here with Annika Richardson, who does have a very strong record here and is one of those core power players we were talking about for the Wheaton Thunder.
Exactly.
Richardson takes her first and makes it look easy. Stepping up for her second here. Trumbach and Faborowski looking back at the back of the court, ready to recover here as Bukata drives it across the line. Bukata finds Kozinski. Down here at the top of the three. Bukata looking for it. Kozinski hands it off to Lewers, and it goes back to Hardy. A last-minute attempt there as the shot clock counts down from Kozinski. Kate Oliver takes it across the line for the Thunder. Bouncing around here, Faborowski on the right side. Trumbach sends it out to Richardson. Richardson with a short high ball down into the center of the paint. Well recovered by Trumbach as Oliver kind of scrambles to pick it up. Bit of a mess there on the paint.
Let's see if we can recover
shot
here.
Shot clock winding down. Kate Oliver is able to get a shot off. Travel called on Kate Oliver.
And we are coming back to those turnovers, Marin. That is absolutely something you do not want to see if you are a Thunder fan or player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are the difference makers. That was a great recovery there from Kate Oliver underneath the net. And so I think to have kind of those small calls, those small turnovers, is really going to make the difference against a team who's really going to defend well against those things.
Exactly.
Blue Jays able to capitalize on that and get two. Giving it back to Annika Richardson. Petra Trumbach. Alexis Martin coming into the game for the first time, sending it to Kate Oliver. Oliver finds Faborowski. Annika Richardson. A beautiful shot there from outside the three to send us to 18 and 14.
That was a beautiful start for Richardson right there, nailing that three.
I mean, as we've seen, Annika Richardson has just been a powerhouse player this entire season. She's currently, 8th in scoring, 5th in rebounding. She has higher minutes per game than any other player in the CCIW right now. And so she's really been a strong player for Wheaton and made it those differences in those moments that really count.
Absolutely.
Tata sends it to the top for a beautiful shot from Lindsay Novak.
Talking to Richardson a bit before this game, she mentioned that the last time they faced Elmhurst, they were able to maintain a relatively close point total between the two teams going into halftime. That second half is really where we saw the Blue Jays creating that space and point differential.
I mean, it's like we talked about with that issue of stamina. I mean, the Blue Jays have this really quick return, and so if they're able to continue to capitalize on that and just exhaust this Wheaton team, we're really going to see that difference starting to come out in the second half.
Absolutely.
Kate Oliver, Faborowski, and Richardson working the top of that 3 line there. Attempted shot there from Alexis Martin. Foul called as Martin gets to step up to the line for 2 shots.
We have Martin at almost an 80% free throw shot, and I am hoping that that is not a jinx. If so, blame this broadcaster.
Well, I mean, like you said, these free throws are those small opportunities to really kind of capitalize on kind of creating a point differential here. We're still seeing a really close score. And so Alexis Martin needs to use those skills that we know that she has. I mean, that 80% free throw shot line is no joke. Sends her first.
Beautiful. And you had mentioned earlier Elmhurst depth. And what we're seeing right now from Wheaton, almost every player in a jersey has gotten a little bit of time on the court.
As we got 2 there from Alexis Martin, the ball goes back to the Blue Jays. Kristen Bucata looking at it again. Bucata's shot comes up just short, even as we see Gibson trying to recover there. Driving towards the center. Good attempted recovery there from Gibson. That's always kind of a hard think on your feet moment there.
Absolutely. Now, Bucata really is the player that I believe the Thunder need to look out for in this game, with her putting 22 points up during the last game.
She's a strong player and one of those strong unifying players. I mean, we mentioned Elmhurst's deep bench, but I mean, with over 600 minutes of playing time, Bucata is kind of their one constant on the court. And so she's definitely going to be somebody that the Wheaton Thunder are going to have to watch out for throughout this game.
Absolutely.
Martin looks for Kate Oliver. Tries to find Jenna Hunter there, down in the key, but not quite. Again, another effective kind of those small turnovers where we have this toss-up over the ball down here at the far end. Faborowski ready to take it. Finds Alexis Martin. Martin looks up for Grace Kaiser. Kaiser looks out for Kate Oliver. Oliver drives into the center and sends it into Martin. Shot deflected, excellent defense there from the Elmhurst Blue Jays. We're seeing Klaczynski take it up and send it to Novak at the top of the key. Beautiful shot there from Klaczynski.
Now, seeing Hunter with the ball there just now, looking at the last game, Hunter was absolutely a big factor in putting up points for the Thunder with 16. Now I'm wondering if she is going to get started here in this second quarter. Not much time left.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that Jenna Hunter is one of those strong players that you just see kind of bringing some constancy to the court. And I think that that can help kind of slow down these Blue Jays a little bit in their recovery time. Novak sends it in the center for Steamer. Steamer able to bring back that Elmhurst lead with just 10 seconds left on the clock as we're looking at 21-20.
Pace is really looking like the name of this game.
And you can see these Wheaton Thunder doing everything they can to kind of slow it down a little bit. Last minute shot from Kate Oliver. That brings our score here to 22-21. Now, Acadia, what have you kind of seen throughout this first quarter that we need to be on the lookout for moving into the second quarter?
I think the first quarter definitely showed just how quickly Elmhurst is looking to play this ball. On every single turnover opportunity, they are going to capitalize on it. We see them crashing that paint time and time again, and if their shots start to go up in the number that they're making, it is going to be a problem. Now, where I see the Thunder being able to respond with that are those threes. we saw a very strong start from Thunder. And if they can continue to make those threes, I think that is absolutely going to be a strength in this game.
Now, as you said just a minute ago, we're seeing that kind of pace is going to be the name of the game. What do you think the Thunder have to do in order to keep this pace down a little bit so that it's going to be sustainable going through the second half?
I think one thing that they definitely did in that first quarter was forcing hard shots. Now we see Elmhurst continually crashing that paint, but if we can have the numbers in that paint as well as forcing them to pass and take longer, we saw that near shot clock violation, and that is really what the Thunder are going to have to be striving for, keeping that ball moving.
And how do you think the Elmhurst Blue Jays are looking to kind of move into this second quarter, having this really close score and kind of being really able to drive this pace of the game? What do you think that they're looking to accomplish this second quarter?
One thing that I've seen Elmhurst really capitalize on has been Wheaton Thunder mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. I have not seen exceptional defense from Elmhurst, although they have succeeded in getting the ball when Wheaton has turned it over. That play right there speaking to exactly what Elmhurst is going to have to do, forcing those turnovers.
I think that's a great observation. We've really seen kind of Elmhurst's strong offense, and their capability on defense has really been capitalizing on Wheaton's offensive mistakes. Well, we're here kind of starting this second quarter about 30 seconds in. Rowan Cusack driving down the left side for the Blue Jays. Sending some passes around here as we're watching the shot clock count down. Kwasinski and Bukata passing it around the top of the key here. Kwasinski, and again, sends it inside to Gibson. Gibson able to bring the score up to 23. Kate Oliver, Elizabeth Faborowski trying to move across that line, feeling some of that pressure there from Bukata.
I think we're really seeing that press start to come into play here.
Absolutely. Kate Oliver drives in, looks for the layup, deflected a little bit. Some excellent defense there from the Blue Jays. Bukata in that quick recovery. Well defended by Wheaton, but a foul is called there in the key.
There we see Elmhurst continuing to crash that paint, and if Wheaton cannot avoid fouls when that is happening, it is going to be a problem. You do not want to continually send Bukata to that foul line.
And I mean, we're seeing some of that strategic choice from the Blue Jays there is to kind of draw those fouls as much as possible and have the opportunity to have your tried and true players step up to that free throw line.
Exactly.
Bukata takes her first. Prep on the court for the rebound as Bukata takes her second. Deflected and Cato picks it up. Crossing from left to right, sent it to Faborowski in the far deep right corner. Deflected shot there, Annika Richardson. Wheaton able to pick up the ball as Faborowski steps out.
One thing that is absolutely going to be a factor in this game, which we have not touched on, is height. Looking at Elmhurst, we have the over 6 foot Steamer. And if she is able to use that height to her advantage, as I believe we just saw in that possession, it is going to be an absolute interference to Wheaton's attempts.
Grace Kaiser picks up the rebound and sends it up the left to Cato. Cato looking outside to Jenna Hunter. A little bit of chaos on the court. Grace Kaiser drives in. Turnover there on the rebound from Wheaton. Sierra Gibson. And there we go. That is going to be Steamer using her height to her advantage, able to kind of get her kind of head and hands above everybody else there, down fighting for the rebound. Now looking at a score of 22 to 26 with Elmhurst leading as they just kind of came into this second quarter just trailing. So I think that we're going to start to see some Wheaton desperation, and we got to hope that that doesn't start leading to some crucial mistakes. Jenna Hunter under the net there, picked up by Steamer on the defense. Bukata crosses the line, drives into the center. looks for the shot and batted out there by Annika Richardson.
Circling back to Steamer, looking at her stats, she averages 8 rebounds a game. Now again, looking at that height differential as well as the space in the paint, if Wheaton is not able to continue taking those threes we were seeing earlier, they're going to be challenged in the paint.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see kind of a face-off between Steamer and Richardson. Richardson kind of being the most adept on this Wheaton court right now to kind of defend her and defend her well. So I think that we're going to have to see how that one-to-one face-off plays out throughout tonight's game. Grace Kaiser looking for the shot there.
When you get two players that are closer in physicality and you start to see them going head-to-head in the paint, I completely agree. I think this is going to be a very physical face-off between Richardson and Steamer.
Seeing a lot of back and forth, and we've got about a minute and a half without any score here. Annika Richardson looking to drive in. Good adaptability there. She kind of gets pushed to her knees. Cato and Richardson working together. Shot clock is counting down from 5 here. Strong shot from Richardson, goes just left, picked up by Trumbach.
And again, we're coming back to those turnovers. It really is going to be something that comes to haunt Wheaton if they are not able to get these under control.
And I think that one of those crucial things is that we're seeing all of these turnovers happen under their net, kind of without the ability to get that score off. And so I think that that's really gonna come into play when we're here looking at these small point differentials. It's really gonna be a shot or two that makes the difference. Steamer looks for Brown. Brown draws the foul there. Stepping up to the free throw line.
We have Brown at looking at about a 70% free throw shooter right here.
Brown makes her first. Seeing some movement, substitutions on the court as the Blue Jays are making use of their deep bench here. Oliver and Richardson taking it across that center line.
Now, one thing that really could inhibit Elmhurst's advantage with their deep bench is the fact that chemistry happens on the court, especially the more time that the same players are able to get together, figuring out how to play to each other's strengths.
I mean, I think that we've seen Wheaton use that to their advantage. I mean, you have these strong players, Kate Oliver, Annika Richardson, Alyssa Faborowski, who've really developed that chemistry on the court. We know that the Blue Jays have some powerhouse players, and we've already been able to see that. But how coordinated can their efforts be? And I think that they've also found a way to use that, and that's their quick recovery time. Brown looking for another shot.
Take your time, let's go.
On her second, scores 29-22.
There you go.
Shot from Brown bounces in, rounds us out to 30-22.
Let's go.
Now, what do you think Wheaton needs to do to kind of make up this differential here that we've seen coming into the second quarter?
I think they need to pick up the pace. We are seeing that shot clock get down far too low, and if Wheaton is not taking shots, then it is going to be a problem.
I think that Annika Richardson might just be hearing you on the court. I mean, we saw her just look at that opportunity and take that shot there.
Absolutely, and it's that quick decision-making that I really think is going to start to be a difference here as we're seeing the score grow in difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Steamer is also not on the court right now, and seeing how that lack of height in the center there is enabling Thunder to crash the paint and get shots off like that.
Seeing kind of the difference that having Sierra Steamer is making there. Maya Lewers, who came on for her, is really making her presence known, though, kind of really driving in and kind of getting low and getting aggressive. So I think that those are kind of the two opposites that are both kind of effectively doing the same thing.
Height or spirit, that's the truth.
Lewis has it again, hands it off there to Delipi. Down here at the top of the key, we have Gibson again. She's proven herself to definitely be scrappy, to kind of find those spaces and be willing to drive into them, which is for sure making a difference for this Elmhurst team.
Exactly. Let's see how quickly Wheaton can get a shot off here.
Lily Caddo could tend to just, hang on to it, let herself get defended as she waits for her team to figure it out. Kate Oliver using those maneuvers here, able to draw the foul. Now as a timeout gets called, we're going to come back to Kate Oliver having those 2 shots from the free throw line. Now, what do you think the Wheaton Thunder need to do here? We've seen them kind of recover a little bit in the last couple minutes, but they really kind of came out on their heels coming into the second quarter. What do they need to do to finish out strong and to go into halftime knowing what they need to do for the second half?
Exactly. I think it's circling right back to that point about being on your heels. If you are not starting on your toes against this Elmhurst Blue Jay defense, then you are
right
losing.
over.
Exactly. You cannot wait for an easy shot. Elmhurst is currently pressing very hard, and they are covering that full court very quickly. Now Wheaton really needs to find the advantage in picking up their own pace.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting that you mentioned kind of the difference with having Sierra Steamer on and off the court, because I do think that we've seen how her height is really making a difference in these defensive moves and their ability to rebound.
Absolutely. Being able to get into that paint is definitely easier when you have less height to contend with. And we're seeing if the Thunder can capitalize on that time with Steamer off the court.
Now we've just got about 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go in this second quarter. Seeing the Wheaton Thunder kind of move back onto the court, ready for Kate Oliver to take these shots. Now it's going to be a matter of who can determine the pace of these last couple minutes as we head into halftime, because that's what's going to determine the mood as these teams go back in the locker room for half.
Absolutely. Seeing Kate Oliver make these shots is definitely going to give the Wheaton Thunder some momentum heading into the halftime.
Kate Oliver sinks her first shot. Seeing Bukata take it across that line, that steady player here for these Blue Jays. Bukata well defended, Steamer back on the court, sends it into the middle for Kaczynski.
Seeing Bukata draw 2 defenders right there, absolutely left number 24 open inside the paint, and that's what allowed for that foul opportunity for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and so here we have Kaczynski stepping up to the line, ready to maximize on that. First shot bounces off. Kaczynski does have a second chance here.
It'll be curious to see how much free throws are really a factor in this game.
I mean, you mentioned kind of right there at the end of that first quarter about it's going to be important that these teams are taking their chances to maximize on the small opportunities, and free throws are definitely one of them. That's about as easy a shot as you're going to get on this court.
Exactly. We see Steamer back in right now.
Beautiful shot there from Annika Richardson. Brings it up to 32-33. Blue Jays still up 1. Lindsay Novak has it, sends it into Steamer. Steamer using her height, able to take that ball down, kind of really get it under control, and then just raise it just above, sink it into that net, really using her height to her advantage in a beautiful way. Kate Oliver has it. Trumbach. Lily Caddo working together at the top of the key. Kate Oliver driving in. Shot just looking a little bit low, bounces off for a good recovery there from Bukata. Bukata left, Lindsay Novak picks it up. Novak stumbles a little bit, kind of finds herself defended in a corner, able to get it out. Kaczynski has it. Kaczynski looks for Bukata, some great defense there from Wheaton. It's going to be called for an Elmhurst possession here down deep on the Wheaton side of the court.
One thing that I really think the Wheaton Thunder need to be aware of right now is how heavily they're relying on particular players. I feel like we're going to need to see a bit more passing as well as shots being taken by more than Annika Richardson and Alyssa Fabrikowski.
But, I mean, you can't argue with statistics. Those two have proven themselves to be vital players on this court. We're seeing Kate Oliver kind of as the passing connection between those two, and those two able to just put a beautiful finish on it.
Absolutely. Looking at this last game, if we cannot get both Kaiser and Oliver started, it may be a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially as we're kind of seeing these really quick drives, especially coming from Sierra Gibson on that right side. Wheaton was able to almost even the score there, looking at 32-33 just about 30 seconds ago, but Elmhurst has taken it back up. Kate Oliver with a chance for a beautiful shot. Able to pick up the rebound. Oof. Bit of a fight there on the paint.
You're seeing that physicality right there in the paint really amping up as this half continues on.
I mean, as we kind of see this clock wind down to getting below 2 minutes, you know, we're knowing that kind of both teams are looking to kind of have some momentum going into halftime. And, you know, we know that kind of starting that second half on your heels is really not the place that you want to start from. So both teams are looking to kind of have that momentum going into second half.
Absolutely.
Lindsay Novak with her first time here on the 3.
That is a rare miss for Novak at a 90% free throw shooter.
Novak has her second chance here. High percentages for Novak. And a beautiful shot. Richardson and Kate Oliver working together to take it across that center line. Richardson looks for Trumbach. Cato has it, moved it across the court. Faborowski and Richardson working here. Cato has it on the 3. Excellent recovery effort there from Petra Trumbach and able to pick up the possession.
We'll see what the Thunder can do with this possession right here.
Now this is one of those chances that Wheaton has not to kind of make those small mistakes and make it into a turnover, but to really capitalize on their opportunities. Kate Oliver, heavily defended, draws a bit of a late foul there, but is able to pick it up. Kate Oliver stepping up to the free throw line. She's going to get 2 shots here, and that's an opportunity for Wheaton to kind of get a little bit more momentum and take it back down the court to even up the score before we hit halftime.
Absolutely. As you're referencing momentum, I think that making these shots right here is absolutely crucial for the Thunder, keeping it within that 6-point range.
Yep. Kate Oliver takes Wheaton up to 33 points on the scoreboard here. Looking at her second shot. Team's prepped and ready to rebound there. No worries there from Kate Oliver. She's able to sink it in. Bukata crosses the second line, looking for an Elmhurst player. Ooh, she drives into the paint and looks out left there. Another foul is called here, and we have Sierra Gibson stepping up to the line. Gibson, who we've seen kind of really be an instrumental player for the Elmhurst Blue Jays here tonight, driving into the paint, really kind of being scrappy, drawing those fouls when it's strategically necessary. So here we have her ready to take her 2.
Well, Gibson does have a slightly lower free throw percentage at 67%, but we are seeing that not affect this first shot at least.
Both teams ready for the rebound on her second. Good recovery there from Annika Richardson. Seeing that high press up from the Blue Jays as Richardson tries to recover quickly. Faborowski has it on the right side. Faborowski finds a beautiful 2-point shot there. I think 45 seconds left on the shot clock. Excellent defense there from Wheaton. It's going to be a fair ball there, as we saw a little bit of a tussle there from Petra Trumbach and Sierra Steamer.
Seeing Wheaton really disrupt on that quick breakaway is something that's essential that we've pointed to several times in this game, but just reiterating that.
Sierra Gibson at the top of the key with it. Great defending there from Kate Oliver. Now this is going to be a crucial opportunity here for Wheaton. We're hitting just 30 seconds underneath. Their shot clock just slightly lower. Some really good defending there from Gibson. Elmhurst willing to waste a little bit of time here. They've got more time on their shot clock. Winding down as we hit 10 seconds. Bukata has the ball. Hands it off to Gibson. Gibson, ready to delay. Gets her last shot off and draws a foul with just under 2 seconds left.
That is absolutely not the foul that Thunder wanted to see right here.
Nope.
Handing over that momentum to the Blue Jays.
But Gibson being scrappy and strategic like we've seen during this entire first half. Ready to take her first. And it bounces in. Gibson ready for her second. That brings the Blue Jays up to a 4-point lead. Beautiful shot there from Gibson. Wheaton looking to return it early. And that's going to be our time for this first half. Now, it's definitely been an eventful first half, and we will see you back again for this beginning of the second half very shortly after some messages from Wheaton College.
I would say be bold. There's a lot of people here on campus who want to enter into a relationship with you. So many programs and things to get involved with, but get involved and be bold in that. And also just be unashamed of who you are. Wheaton, there is no perfect Wheaton student. Rather, we're just a bunch of broken, sinful people who are just in pursuit of a perfect God. Orientation committee, and then also, of course, transfer orientation committee if you're a transfer. These are people who have been praying for you and are making so many invitations to enter into a relationship with you in that first month being at campus. So I would just say respond to those invitations, and that goes for OC members as well as the faculty and staff that surround them. I'd say the biggest challenge was how lonely it was. When you first step onto campus, you don't have all the friends that you're gonna have. And so it took time to just learn how to make friends again. One of the best pieces of advice I had was to introduce myself to my professors as a transfer, and I was surprised just by how many emails I had from professors just making themselves known. So this is a campus where you're so known and loved.
Welcome to the Armerding Center for Music and the Arts at Wheaton College. This beautiful new facility located in the center of our campus is a testament to artistic potential of every person, each one with imagination, creativity, and artistic impulse in the image of God. Home to the Wheaton College Conservatory of Music and Community School of the Arts, this space is not just a building. It's a virtual symphony of possibilities. Designed with acoustical excellence in every room, the Armerding Center is a haven for music study and performance. The Armerding Center hosts vibrant performance spaces, including the recital and concert halls, where the music comes to life again and again. These spaces host performance, worship, and study at Wheaton, in which every note, every melody resonates with a higher purpose, creating immersive experiences which transcend the sounds themselves. These venues, together with the Grand Edmund Chapel, provide opportunities to experience the sacred truths of music and the God who initiated music in the first place. Step into this thriving hub of creativity and community. Every week, the Armerding Center pulsates with energy, offering a kaleidoscope of events, faculty and student recitals, ensemble concerts, visiting artist performances, and masterclasses. But amidst the excitement, there is deep focus. Our state-of-the-art practice rooms, classrooms, and performance spaces are not just physical structures, but evidence of the college's commitment to acoustic engineering and aesthetic beauty. Over 40 practice rooms, a choral rehearsal room, and numerous classrooms underscore our dedication to the arts and the artists. Our students and faculty now revel in spaces with proper climate control, sound isolation, and ample storage. No longer scattered across 6 different buildings, the Conservatory of Music has found its unified home, a building named in honor of the esteemed Hudson T. Armerding, class of '41, former president of Wheaton College. We are delighted to share with you the Armerding Center. This space supports, encourages, and creates new pathways for artistic engagement. The building is much more than bricks and mortar. It is a symbol of the college's enduring commitment to excellence and the thriving creative community that calls it home. We are eager to share this magnificent building with you, our students, faculty, and our community for generations to come. The Armerding Center for Music and the Arts provides endless artistic possibilities for the enduring power of music to inspire, uplift, and unite us all.
think one of the fun things about deciding where to go to college is that all of your peers are in kind of the same place. Remember, other people have done this, other people have gone before me and will come after me and are going through it with me now. It's not as isolating as it may feel. I didn't really know what I was looking for at first. It started with me just scrolling through website after website of colleges. I knew I wanted something that was medium-sized. I knew that I wanted a strong natural sciences department. I knew that I wanted to be challenged academically inside the classroom, but I also didn't want life to stop in the classroom. I'm grateful that I was able to visit as many schools as I did. A large part of my decision to attend Wheaton was influenced by my campus visit. What instantly stood out to me was that everyone on campus was smiling. I felt welcomed, I felt appreciated, seen, and wanted. And so the application process itself was really joy-filled. The decision process was quite a different story. I got the decisions and acceptances and rejections back, and rejections stung. I became very stressed. I started to question, do I want to keep going to school? Do I want to go far? Do I want to come closer to home? And that's where I really started to ask, okay, what are the options remaining before me? And Wheaton was again at the top. I started to work with Ellen, my admissions counselor. I just worked with her really closely and had several hour-long phone calls, just talking through what does a Wheaton education look like, what is the value of a Wheaton education, and got to have personal conversations and interactions. So even during a time that was really stressful, I felt valued and seen as a whole person rather than just a GPA and test scores.
What does it mean to truly be a community for Christ and his kingdom?
Human communities throughout the centuries have made agreements with one another on how they are going to live.
Faith should not be compartmentalized. It should shape and enrich every aspect of life.
People are coming here to be shaped and formed for life.
All three of the statements, the statement of faith, the community covenant, the diversity commitment, are really ways of fleshing out our nice, succinct model for Christ and his kingdom.
These commitments make Wheaton a place of depth and layers.
Faculty, staff, and students, we all try to follow Christ.
It's a place that really develops the heart, mind, body, and soul.
And it's not about rules, it's about how we show love to one another.
They're not meant to just be these words on a page that sound really good to say, but honestly, help us to try to live out those things daily. I see it as an attempt to marry what we do and say.
The mission of Wheaton College is to serve Jesus Christ and advance his kingdom through excellence in liberal arts education. That mission is empowered by the enduring commitments that we make and keep. Our statement of faith, that's what we believe, our commitment to biblical evangelical orthodoxy. Our community covenant, those are promises we make to one another and to God about the way we're going to live in Christian community. And also our Christ-centered diversity commitment, how we express beautiful diversity within the body of Christ, pursuing Christian unity. Those commitments make Wheaton a very special place, a place we hope that God is calling you to join.
Welcome back to King Arena. My name is Maren Davis, and I'm here with Acadia Fitzpatrick, and we are your commentators for tonight's game between the Wheaton College Thunder and the Elmhurst Blue Jays. It has certainly been an exciting game. We are here kind of at the tail end of halftime and ready to start that second half. So, Acadia, what have you seen this first half?
You know, I think we've said it enough times, but I'm going to say it again. Turnovers have absolutely been the name of the game. Looking at 11 points for Elmhurst from our turnovers versus a Wheaton 0. I think that is going to be a huge factor coming into the second half.
Now, something that we also talked about during this first half was pacing, how Elmhurst is really kind of driving this high response time, and Wheaton's been caught on their heels a couple times. So coming into the second half with Wheaton trailing by 5 points, what do you think that they're going to have to do in order to respond strongly to this really quick Elmhurst team?
Well, obviously speeding it up. One thing that Wheaton has done well is shutting down Bucata. We've seen Gibson being their lead scorer. And coming into this next bit, we also want to see a smaller disparity between our lead scorer with Annika Richardson at 17 and our next scorer being Kate Oliver at 7. That's something that needs to change.
Yeah, for sure. I think, here we are. We're kind of about 20 seconds into our second half here. Kate Oliver taking it across that midline. We're still seeing some of that same core Wheaton team. We're seeing a few kind of fresh faces here on the court a little bit for these Blue Jays as they're kind of diving into their bench and utilizing utilizing some of their fresh energy here.
Well, talking about the bench, we have not seen Jenna Hunter get much playtime in this game. And seeing as she was such a large factor the last time they faced Elmhurst, I'm curious as to why that is and how that is going to impact this game.
I think on the flip side, we've seen Grace Kaiser come in and kind of really start, kind of making her presence known on the court, which I think has really helped this Wheaton team. Kate Oliver able to make a shot, but well defended there by Elmhurst. Bit of a bumble there looking for that quick recovery that Elmhurst has kind of really made their name in for this game. Some fights down here in the key for this ball. Faborowski moving across the center line. Foul and a bit of a tumble there. Both players getting up, seeming to be all right. So, sometimes we see those little trip ups happen here on the court where, your feet and the ball, they all just kind of get tangled up with each other a little bit. So here we have a Wheaton possession here. Cato stepping up on the left.
No, that's definitely part of the game. It is a physical game, and you are going to see people getting into it. Now, it's curious that you mentioned Kaiser stepping up kind of in Hunter's position, and I think that comes back to height. We are not seeing much of it on the court currently with only Kaiser in, and we saw earlier with Elmhurst leading with a bit of a taller crew.
Now, just a second ago, we saw kind of our first clumsy turnover from Elmhurst. They've really been able to be clean this game, and kind of that bumbled pass there gave Annika Richardson the chance to kind of take that ball and drive it across the center line. Richardson with a beautiful layup to start us here in this half, bringing us to 41-40. It's a strong start here from Wheaton coming into this second half.
Absolutely.
Good defense there as Cato picks it up under the net. Cato steps just out here on the right side.
That's definitely not another mistake that you want to see Wheaton making in this second half.
Faborowski has it. Annika Richardson at the top of the key. Just kind of bounces out. Good recovery there from Bucata. Bucata crosses that center line here. Starting to see some more of that cooperation between her and Sierra Gibson. Gibson quickly driving into the center, picking up that 2 points.
Looking back at Gibson, I think that is really a player that Wheaton needs to pay some special attention to in this second half. Bucata has been shut down, and seeing Gibson step up in her place.
Bit of kind of confusion on the call there. It's going to be ultimately a travel call on Kate Oliver, giving that turnover, that possession back to Elmhurst. Cato steps off the court as Petra Trumbach comes on for the Thunder. Bucata takes it across the center line. seeing some physicality here on both sides. Novak takes a shot and is picked up by Richardson. Bit of a fight for it there on the paint. Sierra Steamer was able to kind of draw that mistake. Possession back to Wheaton. Faborowski and Richardson looking to kind of back and forth. Seeing that high press here that we've seen a lot during this game from the Blue Jays.
We're seeing that press, but are we seeing the same speed as we were seeing in the first half?
I don't think that we're seeing the same level of speed. I think that we're seeing kind of a similar level of aggression and kind of that ability to like be right on top of it. But I don't think that we're seeing the same level in those returns as much as we were during that first half. I think that's part of what's helping Wheaton to kind of keep the score so close is that they're not having to push so hard to keep up with the speed that Elmhurst is setting. Blue Jays drawing another foul here. Possession for the Blue Jays on their own attacking side. Bukata finds Steamer, and Steamer using her height to be able to kind of pick up that two, make it really quick and efficient. Kate Oliver drives down the far side.
Another notable difference I think we're seeing is 30 points in the paint for Elmhurst versus Wheaton's 12.
Yeah. I think we've seen those really strong drives in, specifically from Sierra Gibson, who's just able to use kind of her speed and her kind of quickness and agility to really kind of get underneath the hands of her defending players and is able to pick up those small points that really do add up. Trumbach and Richardson moving across the center line. Trying to pick up some points. A little bit of desperation there from Kate Oliver. Annika Richardson looks for a shot. Beautiful shot there from Richardson.
Absolutely dominant from behind that three-point line.
Bukata defended here by Grace Kaiser. Sierra Gibson sends it in to Sierra Steamer. Steamer able to bounce it in. High press up here from the Blue Jays again. A really strong defense trying to be really proactive before Wheaton gets the opportunity to get into the paint. Richardson looks for another three and is able to find it. Score is Elmhurst is just leading by one right now with 49-48. Elmhurst with possession. Bukata sends it to Gibson. Gibson looking for her opportunity to drive in, gets kind of caught up there by Sierra Steamer. Steamer is able to find Brown, and the rebound is able to be picked up by Kate Oliver. Trumbach finds Kaiser. Kaiser looks for the three, and it bounces out to the left. Richardson looks for the save, isn't quite able to make it there.
We're seeing a lot of three-point attempts from Wheaton and not much crashing that paint. However, the score is not seeming to show it very much. How much of a factor do you think that's going to continue to be?
I mean, I think that we've seen Wheaton's strength in making those three-point shots. And there is an extent that's like, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That, you know, if they're able to get off those three-point shots and kind of avoid it, kind of crashing those paint, avoiding those dirty mistakes, then it might work for them. But at the same time, we're seeing the ways that the Blue Jays have really been able to be quick, to be agile, to use crashing that paint and getting in right underneath that net to their advantage. And I think that there might be a point in which Wheaton's going to have to kind of use that strategically, be willing to draw a foul, be willing to kind of get in under the paint, fight dirty a little bit, and kind of look for those small shots, because in reality, those little two-point shots, they really do add up.
Absolutely. I think shutting down Steamer is a big part of that. We've said height time and time again, and you look in the paint, and absolutely that is where she's making her difference, whether that be on rebounds or simply her presence within that space.
I think that it's going to be a matter of kind of these teams are trying to figure out how to defend against each other. You know, Wheaton with their really strong defensive record coming into this game, and, you know, with kind of the Blue Jays having this really strong offensive record that they do. They're trying to figure out how to beat each other out. And I think for both teams, it's going, the decider of this game is going to be who's willing to step out of their comfort zone and kind of get uncomfortable with the things that they're not as comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Tried and true start here for the Blue Jays as Bukata takes it across the center line and looks to drive in. Is able to maintain possession there, kind of draw that touch there from Wheaton. Bukata on the end of the court. Looks for a pass and finds Klaczynski. Richardson is able to pick up the shot there. Sends it to Cato. Cato moving up the left. Back to Richardson. Richardson finds Trumbach. Trumbach to Cato. Cato and Faborowski and Richardson all working together. Grace Kaiser drives in. Beautiful shot from Richardson there. That's going to be Wheaton taking their first lead for the first time in a little while. I think that we are seeing this kind of speed of response change for this Elmhurst offense here. How do you think that that has affected their kind of now lagging lead?
Absolutely. If they're going to slow down their pace, Wheaton can really step up in their defense. That is already an exceptional defense to begin with, but seeing them not crash that paint as quickly is giving Wheaton that opportunity to force more hard shots as well as get that ball back.
Yeah, absolutely. Grace Kaiser driving into the paint, finds Faborowski out on the left side. Looking to get quick, get aggressive. Wheaton looks for that shot.
We saw Faborowski come out very strong in this game, and I'm curious to see if that momentum can pick back up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's proven herself to be a game maker, to kind of really be a connector between these powerhouse players that we see on this Wheaton team. And her ability to continue to do that is what's going to be what holds this teams together. Klaczynski draws the foul there. Stepping up to the line for her first free throw shot of this half. Martin comes on for the first time this half as Cato steps off for the Thunder. Klaczynski looks for her first shot and just misses it there. Some team congratulation there from Bukata. Looks for her second shot and also misses there. See, those are those small mistakes that we've kind of talked about being the decider of this game, is what are you able to do to kind of maintain possession, maintain momentum as you keep going. How do you think those small mistakes, like just missing a couple free throws, is going to affect this team?
You know, games are won by 1 point and lost by 1 point. So if you're not able to continue adding those 1 points onto that scoreboard, we see that being the point difference right now.
Yeah.
It is really going to be the game decider.
Yeah, absolutely. Change in court sides here as Faborowski takes us across the second center line. Alexis Martin is able to pick it up in the paint, send it to Kate Oliver. Trumbach looks for the shot. Bounces up. Well picked up by Klaczynski.
We saw some good passing from Wheaton there.
We're going to see an Elmhurst possession here on their side of the paint.
Well, I love to see Wheaton passing that ball. The more amount of time that Wheaton is not taking a shot, it seems like Elmhurst's defense is able to maintain a bit more of a handle on the situation.
And I think, it's what we've talked about this matter of precision. Wheaton being able to pass the ball to kind of use their good team chemistry to send the ball back and forth is obviously going to be good as long as they can make sure that their passes are precise. That's where we start to see kind of those small turnover mistakes come into play, is kind of with those little messy passes that Elmhurst is able to capitalize on.
Absolutely. We see it coming into play right there with a nearly perfect pass that's just a little bit behind.
Yep.
Struggling there.
Bukata ready to take it across the center line again. Bukata drives down. Bukata with the ball looking for a pass. He's able to find Kozinski. Kozinski sends it to Brown, who's able to kind of sink that there, returning that change in the lead again, bringing Elmhurst up to a 1-point lead. Kate Oliver drives in. And against a heavy defense, gets a shot off, is unable to quite make it.
I think Wheaton finding a way to get Kate Oliver to either the free throw line or making those layups is really essential in this game.
I mean, like we said, it's going to be a matter of which team is willing to get out of their comfort zone. Seeing Kate Oliver drive in and draw the foul is something we really haven't seen so far this game. But we know that she's good at the free throw line, and so here as she takes her second shot, we're seeing that benefit pay off as she's able to bring this up to a tie game just with that free throw. Like you said, games are won and lost by 1 point, and so kind of the ability of these teams to get out of their comfort zone, for Wheaton to drive into the paint to draw a foul, for these Elmhurst Blue Jays to really kind of get some comfortability with changing up their routine a little bit, I think is really going to make the difference.
One thing that Elmhurst has started to do rather effectively in the second half is once they are getting into the paint, if they find themselves on a double team, they're able to find that open pass very quickly.
Bukata was able to draw a foul and steps up to the free throw line here. Strong shot from Bukata.
Bukata getting momentum here could absolutely be a problem for Wheaton. As we see Annika Richardson continue to be dominant, who else do we need to see step up?
I mean, I think, we are seeing players like Kate Oliver and, Alyssa Faborowski, who are typically these very strong powerhouse players for this Wheaton team, who have seemed to just be a little bit kind of off their game tonight. And by no means are they playing poorly in any way, but I think that we're seeing Annika Richardson kind of dominating this court, and she really needs some of that backup. Alexis Martin looks for the shot, and it falls just short. Picked up by the Elmhurst defense. Bukata sends it outside. Hardy and Steamer working together. Steamer really kind of using her size, using her height.
That foul line seems to be getting a lot of use this second half.
I mean, I think that, we talked about a little bit in that first half is kind of how these teams are going to use kind of their aggression, their physicality to really make a difference. And I mean, we've talked about that with regards to Sierra Steamer several times, is that she's able to use her height. But I also think that we're seeing with both teams not really kind of having a lot of height advantage. With a couple of exceptions, obviously, they're having to kind of use their bodies and use their physicality to really make a difference.
As we've seen the pace kind of decrease for both teams, I am wondering, do you think that that is something that's going to pick up in this fourth quarter?
I think that it's going to have to if Elmhurst is looking to pull out a victory out of this game, because I think that that is their advantage. Their advantage is their ability to be quick, to be agile, and to keep Wheaton kind of always on the defensive. Wheaton does have a good defense, but if they're kind of always caught on their heels, they're not going to be able to return it as well. And so I think that, Elmhurst is going to have to pick up that pace and kind of force Wheaton to meet them there if they want to pull out of this game.
I absolutely agree. Something we haven't seen much from Elmhurst is taking the three-point shot. Now, if they continue to be dominant in the paint as they have been, it's not much of a problem, but that is absolutely a factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we are, 15 seconds left in this third quarter. Faborowski looking for a kind of final drive across the center line. As we're here just over 5 seconds, Faborowski takes a shot. Picked up in the paint there from Elmhurst. Several collisions on the court as Elmhurst tries to get in their final shot before the end of this third quarter. Here we are with just a 1-point deficit here, with Elmhurst leading 52-51 as we head into this fourth quarter. Now, Acadia, what do you think that we need to see from this Wheaton team in order for them to really kind of take the advantage going into this fourth quarter?
More shots. Put simply, we need to see Wheaton taking more and more shots. We've seen more passing, but as that shot clock runs down, I think that we are getting into a dangerous territory of continuing to wear out Wheaton's offense. We see in the first half that during that first quarter, we have Wheaton at 22 points. And then as we dip into the second quarter, it went down to 14. And the way that they've been able to maintain this pace with Elmhurst has largely been dependent on that three-point shot. If that goes away, I see it being an absolute potential weakness for this Wheaton team.
Absolutely. And I mean, kind of on the flip side of that, what do you think that Elmhurst has to do in order to kind of increase this lead and keep their momentum up through the end of this game?
More shots. Again, we are not seeing Elmhurst really be as dominant in the paint as we were in the first half. They're still getting off a lot of difficult shots. We're not seeing attempts from the three-point line. And again, we are seeing an absolutely amazing three-point game, especially from Richardson.
Yeah. I mean, I think just even looking at Richardson's three-point statistics from tonight is really incredible. But I do think that what we've said is hold true. Like, she can't carry the team on her own. And so I think that even though she has those beautiful three-point shots, we do need to see more shots and more willingness to just get kind of down and dirty in the paint. Starting off strong, Grace Kaiser with a beautiful three-point shot from out on the right side.
And as much as they cannot rely on those threes, it is beautiful to see.
It definitely is. It's just one of those moments where you see the ball floating in the air. But obviously that quick return there from Elmhurst as Bukata takes it, sends it off to Gibson. Looking for that cooperation as Steamer kind of fights it out on the paint there.
No, that piece of aggression there from Elmhurst, the Steamer knocking the ball out of bounds, that's part of their press. And if they are able to maintain that pressure throughout this fourth quarter, it is going to be absolutely exhausting for Wheaton Thunder.
Absolutely. Wheaton has to keep up their stamina over the next 9.5 minutes, and they don't have a big team to do so. Whereas we've seen kind of this rotating door here for Elmhurst as they've been able to kind of keep their strong players, keep up their energy with kind of this rotation of substitutions. Grace Kaiser, Lily Cato, and Annika Richardson all working together as Kate Oliver looks for a shot from the right side. Bounces out and is picked up there from Kwasinski. Turnover picked up by Faborowski. Kate Oliver looks for her chance, well defended, but able to keep possession. Kaiser with another shot picked up by Richardson. Faborowski taking a moment to let the court reset a little bit. Sends it to Richardson at the top of the three, who's able to draw that foul. Steamer, who we've seen use her physicality so well in this game, you know, we just see that kind of foul getting drawn there as she kind of uses that kind of aggression and physicality just a little bit too far. Now we've seen Richardson's consistency at the free throw line, so this is going to be an opportunity for Wheaton to kind of increase that gap. Missed first shot there from Richardson, an opportunity for a second here.
You know, we've really seen Richard be so dominant throughout this entire game. Getting Kaiser with that three right there, we need to see more of that from the Wheaton Thunder in order to maintain this slight lead.
Yeah, absolutely. As Wheaton brings up this lead to 56-52, I think we're going to see Elmhurst kind of getting a little bit more desperate to regain some of their momentum that they've had throughout this game.
As you say desperate, I anticipate a lot more trips to that foul line.
Absolutely. I mean, physicality has already been a huge element of this game, and I think that as this clock winds down, we're going to continue to see even more of that. After a beautiful shot there from Kwasinski, we're back in the Wheaton paint with Cato driving in. Picked up on that small mistake there by Kwasinski. Kwasinski sends it to Novak.
You know, we saw Kwasinski just a play ago taking that harder jump shot, and that really is a difference maker.
This is where we're starting to see some of that Wheaton chemistry and coordination really playing to their advantage. When they're not kind of having to respond to the speed of this Blue Jay team, we're seeing their cooperation, how it's really working well for them.
Absolutely. I think Wheaton being in control has a lot to do with just how much they're able to pass and getting that player with their feet set beyond the three-point line, exactly as Richardson just had it there.
Seeing that cooperation there from Kate Oliver and Annika Richardson is really just beautiful as they're able to get in that shot, draw the foul, and kind of have this series of beautiful passes going all the way around the top of that key.
Seeing them crash the paint and pass well is absolutely an asset for this Thunder offense.
And that's what we've been asking them to show us all game. And so I think the fact that it's kind of finally coming out here in this fourth quarter can only help them. Beautiful shot again from Annika Richardson, as we've come to expect from her. Brings Wheaton to a 5-point lead, which is the biggest lead that they've had so far in this game. And so, you know, here we're seeing Elmhurst really kind of desperate to get that back. Saw a long shot from Brown there. Picked up on the rebound by Grace Kaiser. Kaiser and Oliver working together as she sends it back to Trumbach. Oliver drives in, takes a couple steps too many there, looking for her layup. Travel's called, and we see Brown and Bukata working together in the back end there again. As Bukata moves just beyond the center line, she's defended well by Grace Kaiser. Is able to get off a beautiful shot. Wheaton looking for a quick return here as Annika Richardson and Alyssa Faborowski are taking it back and forth. Batted away there by Sierra Steamer in an excellent defensive move there. Possession is going to be Wheaton's, but I mean, that's definitely a great way to kind of break up momentum and use that physicality in a beneficial way.
Absolutely. With height, you not only get that presence, but having that wingspan where you can really be a problem in the passing game is absolutely a benefit of Steamer's height.
I mean, that's just absolutely a strategic move and something that we just love to see.
Coming back to those turnovers.
Now, as we saw in the first half, you know, Elmhurst is very willing and capable to capitalize on those turnovers from Wheaton. We saw them have 11 points off of direct turnovers here in this first half and have seen some more of that this second half. So, you know, here we're going to see if they're really able to capitalize on it here again.
We've seen from both Kaiser and Bukata during this second half and mostly this fourth quarter starting to take the more difficult shots.
Hardy able to take it up to just a 1-point deficit here for the Blue Jays. Oliver and Richardson, Trumbach passing it back and forth. Faborowski looking for Kaiser. Tipped off by Steamer. And here we see the speed of Sierra Gibson there on that turnover, looking to drive into the paint and really pick up those 2 points. I mean, just so quick, so agile. Bit of a battle for the ball there on the left side of the court as we saw Kate Oliver and Bukata going at it. Kate Oliver down in the paint, picks up that layup for 2 points there, brings us to 61-58. This has definitely been a very eventful couple of minutes as these teams are really fighting to stay in this game.
We are seeing that physicality and that pace pick up here, especially as that clock continues to wind down. I'm wondering how long that's going to last.
I mean, we're getting towards the end of conference play here for both of these teams, and so they both know the importance of this game. They're sitting right next to each other in conference standings, and so kind of the outcome of this game is really going to impact their standing moving forward. And I think that we're starting to see that show up in kind of the pace of these teams.
I completely agree. We're also starting to see those more difficult shots from both teams. We're seeing Alyssa Faborowski with the jump shot right there, and we've had at least 3 players, I believe, Hardy being one of them, taking shots over in Wheaton's side within the arc and actually making a point of continuing to find those shots.
Absolutely. I think that we're seeing both teams really fighting for it. And I think that makes for a really exciting game. I think, we're also, we need to make sure that both teams are kind of being careful. We're seeing some kind of those hard head-on collisions here on the court. And so, obviously kind of player safety is really important. But both of these teams are fighting and fighting hard.
Yep. In addition to that player safety, coming back to the points, as terrible as that is, recognizing that the free throw line has been extremely popular tonight. And I anticipate as both teams get continually more scrappy, it is going to be more and more visits to that free throw line.
And I think utilizing the free throw line is going to be important. As we see that physicality return, these foul calls, when you have the opportunity to step up to that free throw line, you better make sure that that ball's going in, because I think that we're getting down to it. We're under 5 minutes left to play. We're still at this really tight back and forth score on this lead, especially this half. And so both teams are going to have to make sure that they're kind of finishing on the small things, making sure those passes are clean, making sure those shots from the free throw line are where they need to go.
Exactly.
Play starts again with a strong pass from Faborowski, finding Richardson and then Kaiser. Faborowski and Richardson again. Bit of some back and forth here as Richardson drives in. Looks for the two and it, bounces in just a little bit. Bukata driving across the line, looking for that quick turnover. Steamer able to pick it up.
That quick transition from Elmhurst is definitely more characteristic of what we were seeing within that first quarter. Seeing it this late in our fourth quarter is absolutely a factor and exceptional.
Strong run in there from Grace Kaiser, kind of really having that strong drive, the ability to stop and make that really clean shot.
Finding those 2-point shots for both teams is absolutely essential.
I mean, like you said, kind of at the top of this half, the thing that we needed to see from both teams was more shots. And so I think that we're seeing both teams really taking that seriously and taking those opportunities. And it's like we've said, it's the matter of kind of finishing on those small details. Faborowski drives across the center line, tripped up a little bit there by Hardy. Richardson has it. Faborowski's able to pick it up in the paint. Alexis Martin. Martin finds the two for a 7-point lead, the highest that Wheaton has had so far in this game. Hardy drives in looking for it. Picks up a foul there from Alexis Martin.
Now, I'm no ref. However, from this angle, I was definitely questioning that foul. And if that comes into contention, that is going to be one thing that people look back at for this game.
Absolutely, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, these officials, they know what they're doing, and kind of the game doesn't just ride on them. And so, while we've mentioned that these 1-2-point shots from the free throw line can make or break a game, at the end of the day, it's these teams' ability to adapt and overcome. Two great shots there from Hardy.
We've really seen Hardy step into the second half of the game, making more difficult shots as well as being present on that free throw line.
Yeah, absolutely. Hearing kind of a lot of vocalness from the court here as we're seeing these teams really communicating with each other, commanding this movement and this teamwork and coordination. Alexis Martin finds Trumbach, back to Martin, out to Faborowski. Faborowski looks for that three. Drops in for Grace Kaiser. Turnover picked up by Sierra Gibson, well defended. Gibson drives in, well defended.
We're seeing that level of aggression from both teams really pick up within these last few minutes here.
Yep. Now, as we've seen kind of the pace increase in this fourth quarter, we've also seen some of those mistakes increase on both sides of the ball. And kind of here as we are just under 3 minutes left to play, that is going to play a crucial role in how the rest of this game plays out, I think.
You're absolutely right, Marin. We're seeing that full court press being maintained by Elmhurst. But Wheaton's passing game has really risen to the occasion, and we see them challenging Elmhurst, making sure that ball gets to almost every single player before a shot is off, which is helping run down that play clock.
And I mean, as we just saw there, kind of with that beautiful open shot from Faborowski, having that passing game, that ability to make sure that Elmhurst is constantly having to shift and adjust is meaning that they're able to have those opportunities for those shots.
And as important as finding those opportunities are, if Wheaton cannot control themselves on the defensive side of the ball and continues to send Elmhurst to that free throw line, it is a concerning bit.
I mean, here we have Bukata again drawing those 2 shots with 2 full chances at a score here. Is able to capitalize upon her first. And with every chance at the free throw line, that lead for Wheaton just gets smaller and smaller.
Absolutely. And Bukata is not who you want to be sending to that free throw line at a 76% free throw shooter.
Most definitely not. I mean, she has proven herself in all aspects of the game here tonight. You know, at the free throw line, moving across that line, driving into the paint, sending those high shots. And so I think for sure, like, she has been an all-around player, and she is the last person that you want to give an open opportunity to.
Absolutely.
Bukata driving into the center again. Steps just out and is able to give Wheaton back possession. Just over 2 minutes left to play here. At a score of Wheaton 69, Elmhurst 63. It's definitely been an eventful game here tonight, and both teams are fighting and fighting hard.
Seeing those substitutions come in for that Elmhurst bench, having fresh legs may prove to be a determining portion of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple more substitutions here from this Elmhurst bench, bringing on Novak and back on Hardy, who have both kind of been strong players, especially in the second half.
We're seeing a lot of difficult shots being taken by both Novak and Hardy, and if they're able to continue that, they are going to stretch Wheaton's defense thin.
And that is exactly what they're intending to do. They want to wear down the stamina of this team, make sure that they're stretched as thin as possible so that they're getting caught tired and caught on their heels.
And being tired and caught on their heels is exactly what is leading to the free throw line that Wheaton seems to be struggling with.
Looking at yet another turnover here as Novak has the ball at the end of the court. Richardson able to pick it up. Kaiser. Faborowski taking it across that center line, even defended by Bukata there. Faborowski really having to fight to keep possession. Grace Kaiser to Kate Oliver. Now this Elmhurst defense is moving. Wheaton's able to maintain possession as Sierra Steamer just kind of knocks that ball out here on the left side. Just under 1:30 left to play. Petra Trumbach steps up to the left side.
Seeing more substitutions from Elmhurst, I'm really wondering just how well Wheaton can hang on at this pace.
I mean, I think that that's exactly why we see this timeout called. You know, we have seen 6 substitutions from Elmhurst in the last 45 seconds or so of gameplay, and we're kind of really starting to see this Wheaton team get tired. And so the use of this kind of pause is really, really strategic for them.
Absolutely catching their breath here. I'm curious to see what changes coming into this last bit of the game, if any, for the Wheaton defense and offense.
Now, what do you think that this Wheaton team needs to do in order to stay strong and keep their lead going into the last minute and a half of this game?
They've continued to come out strong against Elmhurst's full court press, which I think leads back to the reasoning for this timeout, as well as why we've seen so many Elmhurst rotations and substitutions in here. Wheaton continuing to pass the ball is going to be essential in that.
Absolutely, and we've seen their passing game get a lot stronger in this fourth quarter, so they just have to keep up that pace. Foul on the drive in there as Faborowski is able to draw it and step up to that free throw line. Using some physicality here on the paint, Kate Oliver and Richardson working together. Grace Kaiser has it at the top of the key. Kate Oliver drives in, looks for the layup, and is able to get it. Brings Wheaton up to a score of 71. As we head into just a minute left to play, a foul is called on Grace Kaiser as Kristen Bukata attempts to take a shot. You know, we see that drive again here on the replay as Bukata looks for the shot. Grace Kaiser is able to kind of make that foul. And we see Bukata again stepping up to that free throw line.
Now Wheaton has a couple of points to give here, but maintaining that lead, even with a minute left, is something that they most definitely want to do.
I mean, like we've said, Bukata's the last one that you want to send to the free throw line just because of what we saw her just do, sending in 2 easy shots that's going to make that lead just small enough.
As Wheaton has possession here, I'm anticipating seeing a lot of passing on this drive, trying to run down that play clock as they want the game to end as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. We're also seeing that high press here that Elmhurst is utilizing to really try and maximize those turnovers. A lot of battles for the ball kind of across that center line. Wheaton utilizing their strong passing game here.
I think we're starting to see Elmhurst stop that clock through their fouls here.
I mean, just like this Wheaton team wants to run down this clock, Elmhurst is trying to milk every single second. And so every chance that they can get to stop the clock is going to help them.
2 shots.
Fabarowski able to draw the foul for 2 shots here.
This is really where those free throws start to be an extremely strategic part of this game, going back to stopping that shot clock as well as the game clock, excuse me.
Yeah. Fabarowski takes her first, brings Wheaton up to 72.
Box out your board, box out your board.
Looking for a second. Elmhurst looking for a quick response here. Elmhurst taking a timeout there to, again, pause that game clock, make sure that there's a stoppage, make sure that they have the opportunity to reset. Now we're here with 40 seconds left in this game. So Acadia, what do you think that this Elmhurst team is looking to do in this last 40 seconds?
Well, with an 8-point difference, they really cannot afford to only be making small shots. I think Elmhurst is especially going to be looking to see if there are any 3-point opportunities here to bring that score a little bit closer. And then they will start to crash the paint, looking to draw a foul and get themselves to the free throw line. That said, I anticipate Bukata getting a lot of action here.
What do you think that Wheaton has to do, again, in these last 40 seconds to maintain this 8-point lead and carry the game to the finish line?
We've seen Elmhurst press get more and more frenetic as time has continued on. I think if Wheaton can maintain a strong passing game and wear out that press, it is going to be an absolute Titan versus Titan.
Game clock starts again. Kaiser's able to pick it up there in the key.
Seeing those strategic fouls over and over again here. Oh, and excuse me, a timeout.
And, you know, another timeout being called. You know, these are the things that we're seeing kind of the strategy from these coaches kind of play out throughout this game. We've seen the differences in strategy between both of these teams, and now kind of we're seeing exactly where it comes from is these coaching strategies, kind of stopping the clock and making sure these teams are perfectly equipped to move into this last couple seconds.
Absolutely. And talking about coaches, we have an exceptional Wheaton coaching staff here with Coach Medson originally coaching men's basketball for the first part of his career and then transitioning into women's basketball as his daughter played here as a Wheaton starter.
And I think on the other side, you know, we're seeing Cameron Tucker in his first year for the Blue Jays and kind of, you know, seeing him really kind of start to make his name as a coach in kind of the beginning of his career here. Trumbach on the right side. Another foul called as Kate Oliver is ready to step up to the free throw line. See, that's a mistake that you really don't want to make if you're Elmhurst. It is an opportunity to stop the clock, but sending Kate Oliver up to that free throw line, the opportunity for a shot, it's really not what you're looking for.
I completely agree. It turns into trading those seconds for percentages on the free throw line.
As Kate Oliver misses her first one, here she's got a chance with her second. Brings it up to a 9-point lead here. Got another timeout called. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are really milking this game for all that it is worth. Both teams are kind of desperate to hang on as much as possible. I mean, you know, as we've mentioned already in this game, we are getting near the end of conference play. And, you know, currently Wheaton and Elmhurst are sitting at 5th and 6th respectively and are kind of really fighting for their spot. Katie, what role do you think that is playing in what we're seeing here tonight, especially in these last couple minutes of the game?
I think the intensity that we're seeing from Elmhurst as well as the Wheaton Thunder is definitely proportional to where they are sitting in the standings, recognizing the weight of this game as well as the last bit of momentum it can set going into this latter portion of the season for both Wheaton and Elmhurst. If this game is able to be swung their way, it's going to set things in motion.
Elmhurst looking for a long shot here. It's going to be an Elmhurst possession after that tip-off from Grace Kaiser just under the net. Another clock stoppage there. Is about 4 seconds elapsed from when that ball is kicked in to kicked out.
Sometimes that last minute of the game surely is more than 60 seconds.
I mean, I think that's true across just about every sport that we can see. That last couple minutes just really drags on. Bukata looking for that shot, well picked up by Richardson.
That was extremely well played by the Wheaton Thunder there. We're seeing they are not fouling Bukata and not sending her to the line, which is extremely essential for the Blue Jays at this point.
Yep. And I mean, on the flip side, you know, we're seeing as kind of that physicality and that desperation from Elmhurst to kind of hang on to this game is playing in and giving Kate Oliver another chance at this free throw line.
Absolutely, and we've seen Oliver struggle a bit throughout this game. She's normally a bit closer to the lead shooter, and really, as you were saying earlier, her point as a connector. Now we're seeing her at the free throw line, making her shots, and we'll see how this game finishes out.
With her second of 2 shots, Kate Oliver is able to bring the lead up there to 11, which is the highest point deficit we've seen so far in this game. And I think that is really cementing kind of this momentum that Wheaton has been able to gain throughout this fourth quarter.
I completely agree. And looking at that momentum, these last few seconds are all about maintaining possession of that ball.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, kind of here looking at this last couple of seconds, you know, we're seeing both teams kind of still fighting. Elmhurst is by no means giving up at this point, and there is a lot, as we've seen, that can happen in 30 seconds.
I think the only opportunity for Elmhurst here is really going to be making a three-point shot and then immediately looking to be fouled and getting as many points with the least amount of time.
Which on the flip side of that means that Wheaton's going to have to be really, really careful here. Their goal right now is to run down the clock and to not make any stupid mistakes. They don't have to get another score on the scoreboard at this point. They're in a pretty comfortable lead for the point that we're at in the game. They just need to not get ruffled and not allow Elmhurst to draw those fouls that they've been so good at getting all game. Seeing that a shot attempt there from Hardy. Some more movement down the court as Grace Kaiser is able to draw a foul. And here we see kind of this defensive position that Wheaton's settling into. With about 20 seconds left, they're not so concerned about kind of the direct rebound, but their ability to stop this quick return that we've seen so much in this game from this Elmhurst offense.
Absolutely. Slowing down that quick return and running down that clock is the name of this game.
Kaiser at the line. Finds one.
Now, if you're Elmhurst here, you are going to be looking to get possession of that ball as quickly as possible and get a shot off.
I mean, jumping straight in on that ball is Klosinski. Steamer in the paint, using her height to her advantage and sinking too. Richardson, Kate Oliver. Kate Oliver draws a foul here. It's going to be another foul on Kristen Bukata. Kate Oliver ready to step up to the line. Now this is kind of what you were talking about sacrificing, sacrificing these seconds for these shooting percentages. And so, we're going to have to see how that works out for Elmhurst in the next couple seconds.
Absolutely.
Points at North Park. Has exceeded 100 points in the game with about 30 seconds to play. Soren has 53.
So here, as we're here in these last 10 seconds, as the clock is counting down, we see a last shot there from Anna Krasinski. Now that's going to be a 12-point win for the Wheaton women here in King Arena tonight. Now we also want to take your attention to the Wheaton men's basketball game, which is happening in North Park tonight. Wheaton has exceeded 100 points in their game, with Soren Richardson over 53 points so far on the game. So overall, an incredible night for this Wheaton basketball program, and we've seen an incredible game here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us at King Arena. My name is Maren Davis, and you have been with us and Acadia Fitzpatrick for this game between the Wheaton College Thunder and the Elmhurst Blue Jays. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the next game.